today's topic, quick introduction. The most frequently asked, and every day we receive the same question: can I buy a cheap and risk-free business and immigrate to Canada fast? Okay, the most frequently asked question should be divided into several parts because it's a complex question, okay? It involves cheap, like affordable business. It involves risk-free, and under risk-free, people assume that it's profit-making and revenue-making. So there's a subcategory within the same question. It's a complex question. And of course, the speed, fast. How can I come to Canada fast? So I will be addressing each piece separately so that we have the full picture for you. The first one. People ask if I can buy cheap business, okay? Cheap by meaning that they want to spend as less as possible but get as much as possible, okay? In our experience, first of all, there's no minimum in the law, in immigration law, under, let's say, in federal business immigration programs, there's no minimums. In the provincial programs, as you know, PNPs, entrepreneurship stream, and other business immigration programs by the provinces, they have minimums, okay? Here we are talking about federal programs like, let's say, C11, ICT, and other like free trade agreement investors and so on. So people, because there's no limitation, there's no minimums in the federal business immigration programs, people think that they can buy a business for $20,000, for $15,000, for any amount that they come up with. And they ask, can I buy a $20,000 business, for example, and immigrate to Canada? In our experience, to be honest, that's a risky endeavor, okay? Yes, you can buy the business. There's no legal obstacle preventing you from buying the business. You can buy the business. However, can you bring yourself and your family by buying $20,000 business in Canada, okay? In our experience, businesses under 100,000 or around 150,000, depending on the industry, Canadian dollars, are somehow okay for work permit. However, it's a bit risky. It could be, those businesses could be just breaking even or even losing money, struggling a little bit. Sometimes maybe a little bit insignificant amount of profit, but that's washes away all the risk associated with this, washes away all the benefits. Under $100,000, if you buy a business from outside of Canada, you need to invest into that business additional money to bring it to break-even point or even making some profit, okay? It's not just a one-time, okay, let's say $50,000 and that's it. I'm going to be profitable. No, Canada is a developed economy with tough competition, and you have to be ready to invest more if you are buying a business under $100,000. Most probably, you cannot hire anyone for this kind of business. You have to work yourself. And don't forget what's coming with the owner-operator LMIA. We discussed that topic thoroughly in our previous live sessions. Please go to those live sessions to find out more what's coming up with owner-operator LMIA program. So under $100,000, you will probably have to work in that business, okay? You cannot hire someone else because it's probably not making enough money to hire someone. So you need to take into account this aspect. Finally, because you need to, let's say, revive the business or invest more into business, the timeline to permanent residency could take longer if you need to add points for express entry. So you can start with work permit, but in order to be able to add points and let's say 50 points or especially 200 points, you need to have a feasible business who has some employees, that has some employees, and that business can hire you for a senior management position. Okay, so when the word cheap comes into business immigration, that's a bit conflicting, to be honest. Cheap and business immigration by default is not cheap. Okay, and you can ask a very honest question to yourself. What can you do in your country or any other, let's say, European country with $100,000 Canadian? And plus add to it, because Canada is a developed G7 country where expenses, logistics, wages and everything else is quite significant compared to many home countries of our clients. Now, the second part of it, of the question, is risk-free. And nobody likes risk. I understand. However, doing business by default, by nature, involves risk. And it's not just one risk, many risks. So, and we can see it in the pandemic that there were so many risks that we couldn't foresee. So, is it not the same in many countries everywhere in the world? Is it not the same in your country that business involves risk? It is. So when you say risk-free, many of our clients from different parts of the world, they say, I want cheap, I want risk-free. As a lawyer, that's something that we cannot guarantee. Plus, we are not financial advisors, right? Any business, even the business in your country, involves risks. So especially in Canada, where regulations are very developed and mature, competition is mature. There are thousands of business owners like yourself coming to Canada to compete, let's say, in the same market. The risk is there and it will be there. Whether whoever tells you it's risk-free is probably wrong. Business equals risk. Okay. First, you need to genuinely focus on doing business in Canada. Through business immigration programs, business is first, then immigration. Okay. The government will look into your genuine intent to run the business. That's why you need to be very careful. And this is what happened probably with owner-operator LMIA program. It has been abused. It has been used as a trampoline for permanent residents. And many, of course, government is doing the statistics, is analyzing. They are not blind. They see what people do when they do owner-operator. So that's why genuine purpose of running the business should be number one objective, okay? Then, if you're eligible, you can consider permanent resident. But don't get me wrong, business plus immigration is okay as a goal. It's okay. It's fine. But work permit, because business immigration involves work permit means that business is the first objective. The immigration, you can consider it as a bonus if you qualify to to permanent residence. Finally, when it comes to risk, business immigration requires active management of the business. It's not a passive investment program, okay? It requires your daily involvement in the business, and as I will circle back, it involves risk, okay? Without risk, probably if you are thinking of business immigration, you cannot avoid risk. Let's be honest with that, okay? And last but very important part of this question is fast. When my clients ask about fast, I say it depends. Because what do you mean by fast? Do you mean in 1 month? In 2 months? Do you mean 1 year? Or relative to what fast? So it's a process. It takes preparation, a thorough preparation for strategy, building strategy with your lawyer, then thorough preparation of your documents, strengthening the weak documents, analyzing your business plan, preparing first of all your business plan, and then it's a process. It can never be. Many clients say, "Can I be in Canada in 2 months?" No, I cannot promise the timeline. First, there's a timeline on our side, on the lawyer side, because we take care of thorough preparation of your application, of your family's application, of your business application, and then there's a process within which we don't control. That's an embassy level process. Depending on which embassy we deal with, it can take substantial amount of time. And plus add to that the realities of COVID world right now. So, but federal business immigration programs such as C11, ICT, intracompany transfer, foreign investor, NAFTA, CETA, and other business immigration programs on the federal level, they are comparatively faster than provincial business programs, okay? It could be faster. Why? As you know, PNPs require first investment, then you have to perform, come to Canada, work and run the business, perform according to the performance agreement, and then the province nominates you, and then after nomination, there's a federal process of taking you to the permanent residence. So it can take between 3 to 4 years, depending on how fast you can move. However, provincial nominee programs could be a great option for many, many business owners and investors, depending on your sector. And also, we also specialize in PNP entrepreneurship programs, depending on the province of your interest, the industry of your business. We can help you with PNPs too. So don't get me wrong, PNPs are great programs for many business owners and investors. Let's compare it when it comes to timeline. Let's compare it with federal business immigration programs. Federal business immigration programs require investment. Of course, you purchase a business or you become a partner in the business, and or you establish a brand new business in Canada. Requires you to invest, to actively manage under work permit. Your family will come under work permit. Your children under 22 will come on, with study permit or relevant status. And then, after running at least for 1 year, your business may help you with permanent residence application if you are eligible. Within that period of time, you have to prepare yourself and your family. So I suggest to have 2 plans of action. One, you as a principal applicant, and if you have a spouse, your spouse should also become as an alternative, maybe a better alternative for principal applicant. That's your plan B. So because you are in Canada under work permit, your spouse will get open work permit, and she or he may be working in Canada, getting a Canadian work experience. She may be or he may be your principal applicant for the family. So there's a multi-layered strategy when it comes to business immigration. So it takes roughly 1.5 to 2 years in our practice to convert to become permanent resident under federal business immigration programs. First work permit, and then moving towards permanent residency. Okay, that's my three big part answer for this question. Last, I think another part could be what's the benchmark? What's the benchmark of how much money I have to be ready to spend? Okay, sometimes provincial nominee programs, if we look at provincial nominee programs, there is a kind of a benchmark, right? It's 150,000 or 200,000 depending on the province and other amounts. That could be, in my perspective, that's a good benchmark. I see many of our clients, they go with a $200,000 business, $250,000 business. Recently, our client from the Caribbean, that client wants to buy 5 franchisees. So it's around $1 million investment into Canada. So you can see that business immigration programs, we have to be realistic, and we have to, give ourselves a good look of what we can do, what we want to do, or what is realistic in terms of what's our risk tolerance, and then make a conscious choice with respect to business immigration. Definitely working with professionals helps to clarify the issues. Every professional service provider, like lawyers, immigration lawyers, they look to the full picture before giving an opinion. So if you want to get a strategy meeting with our lawyers, I suggest that you book an appointment with us. If any questions, we specialize in bringing you and your business to Canada. We will be happy to discuss. You can follow us on social media, go to our website. We recently launched Legal Fee Calculator. It's an estimate of how much it'll cost you from the legal lawyer's fee perspective, the business immigration program. So that's why you can go and estimate, be realistic, and that's the message I will leave you with. And I'll take up your questions today.